In this video, I'm going to talk about the two things we did to save some money and pay off some debt. Stick around for the bonus tip at the end. It may be small, but it may make a massive difference in your financial life. A quick disclaimer, this is in no way a financial advice video. I'm just sharing my story and hoping to inspire you to get out of debt and stay out of debt. In one of the books I spoke about in the last video, Dave Ramsey talks about looking at yourself in the mirror and being honest with yourself. Tell me, what do you see? When I looked at the mirror, I saw broke and desperate. I want you to let me know in the comment section below, what do you see when you look at your financial mirror? And let's be honest with each other, hey? This is a safe space. If you know the answer to this, please let me know. I want to know. Why is it that we can't think of owning homes and cars without debt? Why is it so normal to us to have student loan debt, clothing account debt, credit card debt? Why? I'm not trying to shame anyone who has debt. I myself am in the same situation, and I'm trying to figure out how I found myself in this situation. I sometimes feel like I work for the banks. Like I can't touch my money until those who own the money that I've worked so hard for have helped themselves to it. Money in, money out. I know firsthand how it feels to be a servant to the lender. Here's a challenge. I'd like you to tell us, what are the 3 emotions that you feel around payday? And be honest with yourself. For me, it is a sense of anxiety. It is some background stress. It is a sense that I can't touch the money that I've worked so hard for. The crippling sense that I am this good servant to my lenders. Good and faithful servant. So after reading Dave Ramsey's book, I knew for a fact that I had to give his 7 baby steps a shot. This is what the 7 baby steps are. Step 1, save $1,000 towards an emergency fund. For us, that would be about 15,000 Rand. This is for expenses that creep up on you, such as car expenses, family expenses, anything around the home. Let me give you an example. Last month, I lost my cousin. And we had to travel to a different province to go and bury him. So we had to incur travel costs, accommodation, food, to there and back. And had I had an emergency fund, I would have been able to run to that little box and borrow a little something to service this immediate need. Step 2, pay off all your debt except for your mortgage using the Snowball method. A quick one. Snowball method is when you target first your small debt, and once you've done paying off this debt, you then move on to the bigger debt using some of this repayment to pay this debt, and so on and so forth. This method works on our psyche by giving us small wins. By paying off that small loan now, it gives you the courage and the strength to know that you can pay off your loans, and therefore you have more stamina to pay off the bigger loans as you go along. Step 3 is save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Step 4 is invest 15% of your household income towards retirement. Step 5 is save for your children's college fund. Step 6 is pay off your home early. And step 7 is build wealth and give. In my experience, most of us get caught up in step 1 and 2. I personally found it very frustrating to follow the 7 steps to the letter. So I broke some of the rules, and this is what I did. Remember, this is not at all a recommendation. This is my lived experience, and I'm learning. I'm making some mistakes along the way, but I'm also collecting some wins as I go. Here's what we have done so far, with the promise from Dave Ramsey that if today you can live like no one lives, one day you can afford to live like no one lives. Our goal was to free up as much disposable income as possible and to reduce our cost of living. So we chose to go about it by combining the Snowball method with the Avalanche method. This is what they generally look like. With the Snowball method, like I said, you start with a small debt and you work towards paying off the big one. With the Avalanche method, you target the high interest or high amount loans and you pay those ones off first and you work down your way down towards the smaller ones. So first, we moved from the big city to a smaller town. When we made this decision, we made sure that we do not compromise our standard of living. So we looked for a home that was roughly the same size as the one we had, and we wanted a home that would give us a better quality of life, as our child was soon becoming a toddler and they would need space to run around and be free. By just moving, we've saved 4,500 rand. Pause and think about that. Secondly, we chose to target the loan with the highest monthly payment amount, and we used all the money we had saved, at 4,000 rand, 4,500 rand every month, and we completely attacked and devoured this loan in a matter of about 4 to 5 months. So now we're sitting at a total savings of about 8,000 rand every single month. We currently don't have an emergency fund, and I'm realizing more and more the importance of it. So maybe after we're done paying off this next loan, we will start building an emergency fund. The death of my cousin and us having to travel to Polokwane for that funeral made me realize just how important it is to have one. Here's a bonus tip that you can apply immediately to see some big wins. When I lived in the city, I used to buy pod coffee. A packet of pod coffee would go for about 80 rand to about 120, and I would buy about 6 packets of those. So let's call it 600 rand. 600 rand every month on coffee. And my wife and I would have like a cup of coffee in the morning and a cup of coffee in the early afternoon. And that would be what? 4 cups of coffee a day. If we have a visitor, call it 5. So we flew through those pods before the end of the month. When we moved here, I realized that I'd been spending excessively on this coffee, and I had to make a change. So I went and found a roastery, and at the roastery, I now buy a kilogram of coffee every 3 months for 230 rands. They grind the coffee for free for me. So we've gone from spending 600 rand every single month, which is what, 1,900 and something, to spending only 230 every 3 months. That is a savings of about 1,220 or something like that every 3 months. Imagine if you were putting that kind of money towards one of your loans, or your credit card, or your vehicle, or your mortgage. That is a lot of money. Thank you to Lishabalala for asking for this one. She particularly asked for an everyday win that we can all apply immediately. So if you also have a comment or a question, or you have some kind of feedback for me, please feel free to drop that in the comment section below, and I'll respond to it in the next money video. Listen, if you've liked this video, won't you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload a video such as this one in the future. And if you want to know where my journey started, click on this video here, and I will see you there.